gentlemen, our distinguished guest of the day here. He's a frequent appearer on Fox News, and I've been very involved in the Trump campaign. Stephen Rogers.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always an honor to be before a group of Republicans, but more importantly, before a group of American citizens who are looking to do what? To make America great again. That's what we're going to do. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are live streamed on Facebook. We're live streamed because the America Winning Coalition now has 147,000 followers on Twitter. We have 100,000 across our Facebook platforms. We have a representative in every county in this state working with us to get the word out as to what the president's agenda is and where this country is going to make America great again. I understand as of this morning we've got close to 13,000 people on Instagram, and we're growing. We're growing in New Jersey, not by the hundreds, but by the thousands. We're growing by bringing people, by embracing citizens of this state into a coalition. Citizens who have never been involved in politics, never been involved in the political process, who are simply fed up with establishment politics. And now that they want to get involved, they want to get involved with only one man right now leading this party is the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Now, there are a number of things that we're doing, folks. I'm here this morning to speak to you about President Trump's accomplishments, and more importantly, what you can do, what every single citizen, every single person in this room can do to help make America great again. Because 2020 is right around the corner, folks. And we're going to begin to build a coalition now, not only here in New Jersey, but across the United States of America, to ensure that President Trump gets reelected to office. And we're going to do that in a very methodical way. And it does involve New Jersey. It involves the candidates who are running for office right now in the state of New Jersey. But first of all, one thing we need to make clear. The senator mentioned it. Matthew, by the way, great job bringing people here this morning. He said it, and Lucille said it. You see that flag? You see those stars and stripes? That is not a flag that represents entitlement. It is a flag that represents empowerment. And it is the people of this country, no matter who we are or where we're from, coming together to make sure that that flag remains a flag that represents empowerment of the people, by the people, and for the people. I am pleased to announce today, in addition to the America Winning Coalition, I'd like to announce this morning, and it's my pleasure to do this here, Hemant.
Yes.
Hemant Blatt is now our Director of Immigrant Outreach for the America Winning Coalition. Thank you. We've met several times. He talked to me about Matthew, and we're going to be working closely together, not only with your new group, Matthew, but we have done something that a lot of Republicans haven't been able to do in this state in a long time. We're in the inner cities now. We have African Americans on board. We're working with a number of ministers and pastors around the state who are in the inner cities, who are realizing, ladies and gentlemen, that the Democrats are taking advantage of them. I talked about entitlement. Well, the Democrats believe they are entitled to the vote of inner city people. All they've done is promise them and promise them and promise them and done nothing for them. But I believe the Republican Party in this state and around the country, as the president does, could deliver on promises. But we got to get there. 38 years of my life I spent in the police department of Nutley, New Jersey. 25 years of my life in the United States Navy. Well, more so in the police department, in charge of community policing. We were able, during those years, to create very good relationships with American citizens who work hard in the inner cities, who have been let down by both Democrats and Republicans, who have been ignored, who have not been embraced, and who have been given empty promises year in and year out. The one man who has been able to break that methodology that both parties have been using is Donald Trump. Because when he ran for office, he not only went to where the rich and high and mighty were, but he went into the inner cities. I know he went into the inner cities because I was part of that campaign. We went to Newark, and we went to Camden, and we went to Trenton. We went to Cleveland. We went to the Bronx. We went to Los Angeles and Dallas. We went all over the country to reach out to everyone, to embrace every American citizen, because at the end of the day, no matter where we are from, no matter what part of this planet we're from, at the end of the day, we are Americans. We are Americans. And we must come together as Americans to make sure that we remain a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Make America great again. Our slogan in 2020 will be to keep America great. But we, as part of the President's Campaign Advisory Board for 2020, there are about a dozen of us. Every Monday we have a briefing as to how we're going to address issues. And I'm sharing this with you because this is what I'm going to ask you to do. This is what I'm going to ask you. And those of you watching, we've said it over and over again. By the way, folks, we have thousands of people watching right now. Thousands. And so when we come out and we speak, we're speaking not only to a wonderful group like this, but thousands of people via social media. We go out, we have a meeting, a briefing as to what issues we're going to speak about on Fox, on CNN, on MSNBC, or wherever we're going. We come together and we talk about how we're going to approach these issues. And there's one common thread that we have decided to do, and I'm going to ask you to do. Especially those of you who are on Facebook and social media platforms spreading the word. We are deleting every single message we get that is liberal, that is progressive, that is anti-Trump. We are not sharing it. We are not editorializing it. We are not addressing it. We are going to speak and continue to speak about the positive accomplishments of President Trump and the Make America Great Again policy. The economy is booming. The military is becoming very, very strong. He's got an immigration policy that is going to work. And he's going to make sure, even in New Jersey, when we get Republicans elected to office here, that there will not be one sanctuary city standing in the United States of America. So how can we help the president? How can we help the Make America Great Again agenda get disseminated here in New Jersey? How can you do it in South River, in South Brunswick, in South Amboy? How can you do that? One, you can get on your social media platforms and spread the truth, not fake news, but the truth. Where do you get the truth? The American Winning Coalition, every single week we send out the president's Make America Great Again agenda, his policy papers. Every single week we send out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people across this country and in New Jersey what his policies are, what his decisions have been the week prior to. And that information is sent out globally in the 21 counties in the state of New Jersey by our representatives. Matthew, you're going to be getting that. And all of you can get that. And you'll have facts, not fantasy. And you'll have information that is accurate with regard to how to address the policies that the President of the United States is advancing. And you would be surprised how many people would be scratching their heads saying he did this, he did that, this is why he's doing this, this is why he's doing that. Because as the theme was with the Senator, with Lucille, with Matthew, with many of you here today, is education. Education. We need to get the American people, which is all of us, educated about the President's positions on every single issue that is affecting our nation. And you could become part of that. That's one way you could help. Now, the difficult thing, the difficult part of getting you to help. We are in the process of draining the swamp in Washington, D.C. It is a very difficult task. But there are a lot of other swamps. We have swamps in every single capital across this country. We have swamps in every city, town, and every city, and every single city across this country. We have swamps, folks, from boards of education all the way up to the United States Senate. What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot more we can do to drain the swamp. You're running for the school board. She's going to help drain the swamp. Because we're going to have an individual on that school board in her community who's going to represent the values of the Republican Party, which, by the way, Senator, that was a great scripture you said. We all know one thing this morning: God is a Republican. Now, before the press gets a hold of that and tries to make an issue out of this, only joking. But how do we drain the swamp in our cities, in our towns, in our capitals, in the United States Senate, in the United States Congress? We do it by ensuring that people who are elected to office embrace the principles of the Republican Party in this state and in this country, and the principles in which this nation was founded upon. Let's talk about school boards. One way that we could begin to think long-term about draining the swamp, folks, and we talked about it this morning, is education. Don't you think it's time we get back to a time, and Senator, I know you would support this, that we begin to teach our children civics, government, and patriotism for the United States of America? Don't you think it's time we do that? I know the president thinks it's time. I think it's time, and we have good people in office who thinks it's time. The Republicans think it's time, but you could do a lot to make sure the time is now by electing people to office who embrace the conservative values in which this party and this country is founded upon. You need to run for the school board, some of you here. You need to run for your city councils. You need to run for mayor. You need to run for state assembly. You need to run for the state senate, for the United States Congress and the United States Senate. You need to get up, folks, and run, run, run for the good of this country. You may think that your input, that your voice does not count, but it does count. Now more than ever. See those children here? See, every time my wife and I go out, and by the way, my wife is an immigrant, legal immigrant. She came here after living under a flag that had a sickle and a hammer under Soviet rule. Think about living under those conditions, where you couldn't open up a Bible without fear, where you didn't have the opportunity to go vote like we do in this country. And my wife, when she looks at all of the news media about illegal immigration and why people want an easy pathway to citizenship, she remembers how difficult it was, like many of you in this room today, to become a citizen of the United States. But you know what? She was determined to do it by the law. And that's exactly what we need to do. So you see, some way, somehow, all of us have been touched by the immigration fiasco of this country.
That's right.
All of us. Not one of us has been untouched, because we're either married to immigrants that are coming now legally, or we have sons and daughters. I mean, we have families that are still coming to America legally. And now we have a president that's addressing that issue very, very affirmatively. And so I leave you with this. We've got candidates in New Jersey running for office. I met Bob Eugen. I've met a lot of these candidates. They're going to be working very, very, very hard to do what I've shared with you today, to embrace people across this state, to get them involved. We're in trouble, folks. We're in trouble in New Jersey. The Democrat Party is going to be pouring millions and millions of dollars to knock off our congressional seats. The nightmare they're going to have is if Bob Eugen gets elected to the U.S. Senate, and they're looking to cripple the Make America Great Again agenda. But you know what? The Democrats have a problem. And that problem's us. That's you and that's me. Because all of these candidates in New Jersey who are Republicans running for office have to a great, great, great degree supported the President of the United States and his agenda. I know that every candidate in New Jersey in the Republican Party is opposed to sanctuary cities. I know that every candidate in the Republican Party in the state of New Jersey supports, folks, the Second Amendment, which should never be negotiable. Never. I know that every single candidate running for office in the state of New Jersey wants to bring this government here in New Jersey and ensure that the government of the United States will be run not by courts, not by politicians, but a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So you go out there during a primary, support the Republicans you wish to support, but whoever gets elected, please keep this in mind. We all have our choices in primary races. That's what America's about. But if your candidate in a primary loses, you need to support the Republican candidate who wins. That is fundamentally important. Because at the end of the day, as I said earlier, folks, at the end of the day, we're not Republicans. We're Americans. Thank you so much. God bless you and God bless you.